بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
I said I had some pointers about the class, yes? So those pointers are, if you do not have a book and you are trying to regularly attend this class, you need to get a book. Can you be a surgeon without your utensils, your scalpel and whatnot? You can't do it. Can you be a soldier without your weapons? You can't do it. It doesn't make no sense. You run up on the battlefield with no gun. That don't make no sense. As a student, if you are a student and you are taking this endeavor seriously, you can't do that without a book and without writing utensil, whether it's a pen or a pencil. You can't do it. You're going to come here and you're going to listen, you're going to hear my voice, and it's just going to put you to sleep. It's very, very important. If you're going to be learning, you have to take notes. Like I've mentioned before, not everything that I say is in the book necessarily. For example, like when I start out, it's usually just some general thoughts to share with you all, so that may not be in the book. But obviously, I'm only hopefully trying to bring something of benefit. And the best way to remember that benefit, and the best way to remember is to write it down. The best way to retain what's in the book is to read. Something that you have to do. Learning cannot be a passive endeavor. You have to be engaged when you're learning. You have to be engaged, and you have to be reading, you have to be writing, you have to be involved in that process. If you don't, the same thing is going to happen. The knowledge that you have of your religion is going to be Swiss cheese. You're going to know some things here, and over here you should know some other stuff, but it's just going to be a gaping hole, and you're not sure why that is. Somebody going to ask you something as simple about Siyam or fasting, and you're like, man, I didn't take no notes. I remember sitting in a class that one time like 5 years ago, and I know I should know that, but, And unfortunately, that's how a lot of Muslims, when they're engaged, if you ever go to a class, they think maybe because we sit on the floor or whatever, because it's in a masjid and not in a classroom, a lot of Muslims, they take it like it's not that serious. And I just come and, alhamdulillah, hang out for about half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, see some brothers and sisters that I know. MashaAllah, assalamu alaikum, how you doing? Oh, you was at the class? Alhamdulillah, mashallah. And then they go back. But if you ask them anything about what they studied or learned that day, they be like, I don't know, man. I mean, alhamdulillah. Case in point, look at Jumu'ah. If you look at Jumu'ah on Friday, ask somebody. Matter of fact, this is homework. Try this tomorrow, because tomorrow's Jumu'ah, right? Try this tomorrow. When you're leaving the masjid, ask somebody on the way out, what was the khutbah about? Ask them what the khutbah was about. And I guarantee you, 7 times out of 10, they won't be able to tell you. Because they sit there and they're just used to it. 7 times, I'm telling you, so many times, brother, I've talked to somebody, man, mashallah, that khutbah was so good. Brother, could you just tell me 2 things about the khutbah? Just tell me 2 things. Don't tell me the whole thing. Don't summarize the whole khutbah. Just tell me 2 things about it. I'm like, man, it was a good khutbah, brother, mashallah. The imam was on fire, mashallah. But okay, that's great, brother. What? Give me a takeaway. What did you take away from the khutbah? Okay, what was his point behind the whole thing? I'm like, wallahi, brother. Let me get back to you on that one, inshallah. My bad, akhi. I got to get back to work. And I'm trying to be generous when I say 7 out of 10. I don't want to say 9 out of 10. I'm trying to be generous because Imam Sheikh Bilal is over there looking at me. Right? But I'm telling you, a lot of times, people ain't paying attention. They come in and, is it back to work? Do we got to go back to work yet? So I'm saying, this is a class. You can't treat it like that. You can't come and not have a pen or pencil in your hand, and you can't be, ready to ask questions and I'm not jesting either. Sheikh Bilal, alhamdulillah, has questions. When he comes, he's engaged. Alhamdulillah. Brother, last time you had questions, you're engaged, and you got your book. This is something extremely, extremely important. And this is in general. I'm not just talking about this class, any other class. And I'm saying that especially when it comes to your deen, when it comes to your religion. This is the only thing after the tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that's going to empower you as a Muslim. Is that you take your learning your religion seriously. That you don't just take it from, well, one sister told me that this is halal, or one brother, he told me that this was permissible to do. And then for many people, that's how they practice their religion. Just because of what they heard and what somebody told them or what somebody mentioned to them, you will forever be at the mercy of other people when it comes to practicing your own religion. You will always be at the mercy of somebody else's translation. You will always be at the mercy of someone else's interpretation. You will always be at the mercy of someone else's culture. You will always be at the mercy of other people. And sometimes they're good. Alhamdulillah, some people are. And sometimes they're not. But because you're not learning for yourself, you have no choice but to take whatever they say. And you there ain't nothing else you can do about it. But if you want to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you want to get your religion to be based on not just blind faith or because you've been Muslim for so long, but rather because of what you know, look at this. Ibrahim alayhi salam. Y'all know who Ibrahim alayhi salam is, right? You know who he is, right? Tayyib. He was a what? He was the intimate and close friend of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's Khalilullah. The close and intimate, that's more than a friend. A Khalil is more than a sahib or a Sadiq. Khalil is more than that. It means like a close and intimate friend. And we know that he, as the Imam, he said that he was a prophet. So if he's a prophet, does he communicate with Allah or not? He communicates with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So does he know about Allah or not? Does he have knowledge about of his deen and his Lord? Or yes or no? He knows. He has knowledge. But he still asked for certainty. He said, "Oh Allah, show me how you bring life." He already has knowledge. He's a prophet, but he's still looking for more knowledge and to have more certainty to be closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him, then take the bird, cut it into 4 pieces, put it on the different mountains, and then call it back to. Even though he has knowledge, what? He's still looking for more. And because he wants to have certainty in his deen. And we're supposed to be following in that example. That we're not like pseudo-Muslims or that it's just like this loose practice of Islam. As much as we possibly can. And the only way to do that is to learn your deen. Does that make sense? I hope so. Tayyib. So we said what? Is that you need to be actively engaged in the process. That means bring your book. That means have your writing utensil, take notes, and if you need to ask questions, please. And I'll stop with this. No question is ever a stupid question. No question is ever trivial, as long as you're sincere. As long as you're sincere, if you really want to know something or learn something, any question, there's nothing where it's like, don't ever be embarrassed. And if you are because you want to ask the question, but you don't want to ask in front of everybody, don't ever leave it. Even talk to me afterwards or whatever, but no question is taboo. As with the condition of what? That you're sincere and that you really want to know something. Because I'm sure y'all have seen people ask a question and either they already know the answer or the question has been asked 70 times. I'll give y'all an example. Somebody says, first of all, they bring in a sheikh from out of town or something like that. Sheikh comes, the question's already been asked so many times. Like, sheikh, is music haram? Like, subhanallah. Every time we have a conference, somebody asks that question. Every time. Or how about this? I was at a camp with some young people. Somebody asked, not sincerely, right? It's important. Sheikh, is pornography haram? Like, really, brother? And he just wanted to get laughs out of everybody. I'm sure none of you are going to ask silly questions like that. However, sometimes people ask questions because they're not really asking a question. They really want to make a statement. Sometimes people ask questions not because they really want to learn something or become enlightened or remove some ignorance, but because they want to, like I said, make a statement to somebody else. That's a waste of time. It's a waste of your time, and it's a waste of everybody else's time. However, if you're sincere and you really want to learn something, no question is a silly question.